Okay, so before you start, take your time to think. You have 30 seconds to think. So use those 30 seconds. Even if you know what you want to answer, just use those 30 seconds at least to structure your ideas and to prepare yourself to deliver the speech that you're about to say. So do not underestimate and do not rush into answering the first time you hear the person recite to you the question. He will also be saying the question twice, repeating it to you twice, because those are the rules of the contest. So you have enough time to listen to the question carefully, and then to use those 30 seconds to answer it properly. Now, the question is, how do we develop our answer during those 30 seconds? And that is what we will talk about next. The first thing is, when we listen to the question, a lot of ideas jumble up in our head, and like we don't know what to start with, like what idea to choose. So my tip to you is to go with the first little idea that comes to your mind. You don't need to find the perfect idea, because if you do that, you're going to waste your entire 30 seconds and you're not going to find anything to say, and you will be less confident when you come up to answer. So go with the first idea, no matter how little it is, and work on it. Like, use the rest of the 30 seconds to develop this idea into a proper, well-structured speech. Because after all, the judges will not judge you on your idea, they will judge you on how you develop this idea into a speech. Second thing that you need to think of after you identify what you're going to talk about is to know when to stop. We've all been there. I'm pretty sure we've all been there. We go up on stage and we start talking and we get to the end of our speech and we get stuck in this loop. We start repeating our conclusion twice, even 3 times, and then we just stand there and we'd say, like, yes, basically that is my answer. Now, this is very annoying to me as a speaker, and that's why I try to avoid it. How to avoid it is I know from the beginning where and when will I stop my speech. What do I want to leave my audience with? What is the message that I'm trying to say? If I know where I'm going to end, then I know how to develop the ideas, or what to speak. What are the ideas that I'm going to talk about that will lead me up to this conclusion? And once I get there, I know that it's time for me to stop talking. So identify the first idea that you want to talk about, and then know or identify the conclusion that you want to end with. And the rest of the speech is basically filling up the blanks with ideas that will lead you up to this conclusion. Third thing to remember is that you need to start with power and end with power. You need to think of it of an introduction that will catch the audience's attention and will engage them to listen. And you need to end with power so that you touch the audience's hearts. You become memorable to the speakers. And this is very important because, during judging, even though judges are they're supposed to be objective, not subjective. However, we're all basically humans. So if you're a memorable speaker, this will give you somehow an advantage because, they will remember your speech the most. And that's how they will, if it's a good speech, they will judge you in a good way. Finally, end with a call to action. This is my favorite way of ending because, anything I'm about to say, okay, I just find a conclusion with a call to action. This will help engage me with the speaker, with the audience, and it will tell the audience, what do you need to do after listening to my speech? And you don't have to think of a lot of things, because if you keep it a habit to end with a call to action, you'll always find something to ask the speakers to do after they listen to your speech, whether it's something funny or something inspirational. And in that way, you make sure that, they listen to you at the end. It's not just like, okay, I ended my speech. It could be a good, powerful way to end your speech. Now, some general tips before we move on. Let's start with this one. Basic one, express an opinion. Now, especially with contests, usually the questions are usually opinion-based. So you're asked to express an opinion. Do not be shy. Express your opinion in a very diplomatic and polite way, and you're on the right track. Now, whether you decide to express an opinion or not, or you're talking about anything else, you need to remember something, and that is the rule of 3. Now, in any speech that you want, make sure that you talk about 2 to 3 main points, like in the body of your speech, especially for a 1 to 2 minute speech. If it's more, then it's gonna take more than 2 minutes. If it's less, then it's gonna seem like you didn't talk about a lot of things. So in table topics, try to limit the points that you talk about from 2 to 3 maximum main points. Third thing is, remember the 6 honest serving men. So what are the 6 honest serving men? Basically, they are 6 questions that you need to answer. The questions are basically what, why, when, how, where, and who. And basically, if you answer those questions, you have the speech. All you have to do is just, formulate them properly, and there you go. You have the speech. Now, of course, you might not be able to use this always, but I'm just giving you some techniques to answer, and you will use the proper technique based on the type of question. Fourth, draw on your personal experiences. We all have good stories to share. And when you share personal stories, you connect directly with your audience. This also gives you time, because you know the story, you already know the story, so you just have to say it, and you finally find a call to action or an inspirational conclusion to end with, and you don't have to do a lot if you deliver it the proper way. So do not shy away from sharing your personal experiences, but make sure that you don't go over time, because sometimes our stories are too long that they won't fit in 1 to 2 minutes speech. So just make sure that you keep your time, you keep track of your time. 5, you need to use some supporting material, because sometimes we have like a question we want to share, and we don't know how we're gonna fill those 2 minutes. Like, we feel like there isn't a lot of things to say. So in this case, we can use things like anecdotes, we can use quotes, we can use statistics, testimonials. We can even start with a question or end with a question for the audience to think after the speech. So make sure you use at least one of those in your speech. 6, sometimes we do not know what to answer. In this case, do not shy away from making something up. Nobody's gonna know. And I've done it a lot of times. I've created stories that haven't happened with me about people that don't even exist, because I had nothing to say. And guess what? People believed it. So nobody knows what you're about to say. So be creative, be fun, and enjoy your speech, and make something up. It's very fun, actually. 7. Now, this technique is not exactly during the contest. This is something for you to work on the long term. And that is to develop a template of your own to answer table topics. Now, what do I mean by a template? For example, a friend of mine has the following template. Usually, whenever he has a table topic question that he wants to answer, he would start with a quote. He knows a lot of quotes. He would discuss the quote and relates it to the topic, and then he would end with a call to action. So this is a template he has. He developed it with time. All he has to do during the 30 seconds is that he would think of the quote, he would see the call to action that he wants to end with, and then he would just fill it up with things related to this quote, and that would lead him up to a call to action. So that's why the 30 seconds are very important. Those 30 seconds, the more you practice, the more you will be able to use them wisely to develop the speech of yours. So basically, this is all I have to say. If you have any questions, we can take some questions before we start, and then we'll go over the judging ballots. Are there any questions?
Yes, so I do have a question.
Yes.
What if sometimes your message is way more important than the timing? Because I've had that before. Sometimes you just have to send the proper message, and you just say, forget all about the timing or the rules or the competition or whatever, because it felt so resonating with others.
Okay. In this case, you need to know how to prioritize your time. So the rules are very important, because if you're in a contest, you have to abide by the rules. You have to speak for at least 30 seconds and no more than 2 minutes 30 seconds. So in a contest, if your message is the priority, you need to make sure that the way you say your speech, or the way you structure your speech, it gets the message through, and you remove unnecessary details, because we all we tend to say a lot of unnecessary things that can be removed from the speech if we think properly. And that's why it is important to think before you start speaking, because once you speak, they will start timing. So use those 30 seconds to prioritize what you're going to talk about, and remove unnecessary things. Just don't talk about them, so that you can finish during the time limit. I'm not sure he's listening, but I think he can watch the recording. I think we lost Khaled. Do we have any more questions? Digan is surprised. Okay, so I guess we don't have questions.
Thuraya was wondering, as a person who forgets a lot, do we have these tips and tricks written somewhere, or it's just the PowerPoint and we should watch the recording again?
No, I can share with you a document. I can write them down in a document if you want, and
yeah,
you can share.
Definitely, please. Yes.
Yes, because they make a lot of difference when you answer.
Can you tell? Hello, Surya.
Yes.
This is Digan this side. So, can you share with me about how to handle table topics in such situation where we don't know many people? Means, for example, I know Mercury since last 2 years, but in case if I end up in a club,
I can't really hear you very well. I think I don't think it's just me.
It's disconnecting.
Yes, so I couldn't hear your question.
I think it's the headset.
It's the headset. Yes, it's not the internet. There's a whoosh. Can you try now?
Hello.
Okay, say a sentence.
Hello, this is Digant Mittal. I am a Toastmaster.
Okay, great. This is better now. Continue, sorry.
Okay. So, in case if I end up in a meeting with different audience, for example, if I end up in an Egyptian club for table topics, so how can I give a table topic speech over there which connects with everyone? Since traditions might differ, in case if I end up speaking something which doesn't go well with Egyptians, then I will end up getting into the wrong side.
Yes, definitely. Now, this is not just to be applied with table topics. Like, it's any speech that you give. If you need to know your audience, so this is a whole lot of different topic. It's so huge, and we could do a meeting on that as well. But general tips is you need to try to avoid the things that you think might be offensive. So, for example, if you know some gestures are offensive, you can avoid that and use the international gestures that all over the world are used during your speech, so that you avoid offending people. You could also avoid certain topics that might be sensitive, like the people there might be sensitive to, for example, such as anything that is talking about sexuality, maybe politics, religion. People are usually sensitive to such topics, and that's why we try to avoid those in Toastmasters in order not to offend anyone. So this is just a main important thing to remember, whether you're just conversing with someone from different culture,
And
is to know that person.
thanks. That was really helpful. I will work upon that.
Great.
May I say something?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. In fact, I am an old Toastmaster. I have been a Toastmaster since now 15 years. And in the bylaws of Toastmasters, you are not allowed to speak about politics, religion, or sex. So it is definitely not to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your feedback on that. So do you have any more questions, or we can move on session? Okay, if you have any more questions, we can definitely answer them during the session. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a look at the ballot, at the judging ballot, so that we can see how the judges usually score the contestants in table topics, so that you have a better idea on how to develop your speech so that you get more points. Because that, if you're going to participate, you probably want to deliver a good speech. And then later on, we will do some table topics, as I said. I'm not sure if all of you were there at the beginning, so we'll do some table topics. And then I will ask, after each speaker, for 2 volunteers. Basically, one volunteer will be giving the speaker a point to improve, and the other one will give the speaker something positive about their speech. And you could use this ballot to come up with the good or the bad, the points to improve. So let's start. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, now we can.
Okay. Okay, so as you can see, this is the judging ballot, and it's divided into 3 main sections. So up here, you have the content. In the middle, you have the delivery. And finally, you have the language. And if you see the points that you get on each section, for the content section, you have 55 points. For the delivery, you have 30 points. And for the language, you have 15 points. So as you can see, the highest score is the content of the speech, then comes the delivery, and then comes the language. And that's how you're going to prioritize how you will deliver the speech. So the first thing to remember is work on the structure of your speech. Make sure you deliver a very well structured and inspiring speech with all of the components of a normal speech, because table topics is just like any other speech, but it's 1 to 2 minutes, so it's shorter. Then after that, if you felt that you're comfortable, start practicing your body language. And as I said, avoid things that could be offensive, gestures that could be offensive. And finally, the language. Your speech should be appropriate. You should have correct grammar and English. Now, in the content, there are 2 parts. You have the speech development. If you have a good opening, body, conclusion, how smooth you went from one part to the other, the organization of your ideas. And that is 30 points, the maximum. Then you have the effectiveness, like what logic you're using, if you're enthusiastic about the topic, if you achieved the purpose of your speech, how did the audience engage with your speech? And then you have the delivery. Sorry, this section has 25 points. Then in delivery, you have the physical section, and that involves your body language, how well you used your speaking area, how you look, and trust me, how you present yourself affects a lot the grade, especially if there is high competition. So the way you present yourself is very important to make an impression. And that is 15 points. Then you have the vocal variety, how well you were using your pitch, your projection, your pronunciation, your pace, your pauses. So all of those like go into play in this, and you have 15 points you could get. Then you have the appropriateness in language, whether the speech was relatable to the audience, it was not offensive. And then grammar, you have 5 points. So this is what the judges will use to score you during table topics. Do you have any questions on that before we move on? Well, I
No,
can
it's
see. Okay, great. So now we need to start. I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna keep this ballot here, or I can share it with you. Do you want me to keep it so that we know how to evaluate, or you're good on that?
Maybe let's keep it. Yes, let's keep it, since some of us, as me, didn't do that role before.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm gonna cheat. I made a list last week as the table topic master, and we did not finish this list. So we are going to continue the rest of the questions that I didn't have the chance to continue last session. And we'll probably have some questions that were already answered. So we don't know who might have an advantage with the speech. So who wants to come up first? Okay, I see Digant.
I would like to come up first. I don't mind.
Okay, okay, we'll all go. So let's start with Digant if you want.
Sure. Actually, I'm busy with some office work, so it's better if I start. Thanks.
Okay, so Roland?
So I can try.
You can try.
Yeah.
You're disconnecting. I can't hear you properly. That's why.
Okay, I can. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay. I will keep my volume little bit up so that I'm clearly audible. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if you want to evaluate, make sure prepare yourself from now and listen to Digant's speech so that you come up next. Okay. So Digant, your question is: time travel may be far-fetched. However, scientists have devised a method that allows you to watch the past on the screen. So you would pick up any historical event, not necessarily one that everybody knows, any event, and you can replay it. What is the one event that you would like to watch from the past?
Okay. So I would like to watch the war that King or Emperor Ashoka had in his lifetime, the war that was the changing point, that was the turning point in his life. I am talking about the War of Kalinga. This kingdom was invaded by Ashoka, one of the greatest emperors of India, and one of such kings who were very instrumental in spreading Buddhism and peace across the world. Before this war, Ashoka was very, very violent, very, very tyrant person who didn't care about how many lives he took, how much brutality he did, just for the sake of his insatiable desire for power and insatiable desire to rule. But when he saw that how much bloodshed he has caused in that war, how much inhuman condition was there, he realized that he not just won the piece of land, but he only won some of the pile of corpses also. dead corpses, wailing of ladies, crying children, and nothing else. That was the turning point in his life, which made him renounce the violence, the brutality that he was committing, and move towards the path to promote non-violence. I really want to have a look at that event. Back to you.
Thank you, Digant. I'm not gonna comment so that I don't inspire the evaluators. So, who wants to evaluate Digant? Roland, you want to evaluate?
I can start if you want for Digant. You want me to tell one positive and one negative thing, or one positive thing?
One positive. Or
The
one.
the thing about Digant is that he's like a walking encyclopedia. I love how he has an answer for almost everything. I love how he's creates a story, and he did provide details in that story. I don't think he has a problem in continuing the 2 minutes. I guess if you give him 10 minutes, he would finish them all, and that's one of the things that I like about him, honestly. So yes, this is my positive feedback for Digant.
Okay, great. So I think this goes under speech development. Like you develop well-structured speech. Anyone wants to share a point
Yes,
of
I can go for the point of improvement.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not gonna go over the amazing answer that our friend Dickon just gave us, but the only note that I would give him is the same as I always give to myself, the vocal variety. So again, as example, when you said, just for the sake of, and you continued while there was slaughters and some things are going on, let's keep it just for the sake of, and continue, or the brutality. And so we want to feel the emotions and the ups and downs in your speech. I think that practice makes perfect, but overall you had a great speech, Dickon. راح من عندي ولا can you hear me, guys?
Yes,
Yes.
loud
Yes,
and
we
clear.
can hear.
I think Suraya.
Soraya got disconnected, yes.
Please.
Okay, we will wait for her.
منيح انه صورة حلوة.
ليك I'm enjoying the session. يا الله كتير حلوة.
ليك in general table topics is very important صراحة. فكتير أنا بحس بقيمتها أو هيدا it's hard, it's not easy. بدها واحد يكون it needs someone who has like it needs creativity to be fast to be on the spot. هيدا الشيء أنا I find that's very amusing صراحة for everything. I could use this in any job. How to know how to answer on the spot. That's just important. So Digit, are you currently at work?
Yes, I am currently at but actually I'm running some analysis on Basecamp as well as I'm doing my own work also, because recently I have been appointed as Vice President Education of one of the clubs in Mumbai. So
Oh, that's great. Congrats.
it's work time. It's always work time then.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Sorry about that, internet. Okay, so I was saying that I wanted to add one more thing about Dickens' speech, because it's a very nice story, and it has, like, you know, there is something that you could leave your audience with. You could end with a call to action, or you could even end with a question. For example, I would have said something like, okay, that was the turning point for this emperor. What is the event that was the turning point in your life? And this will trigger a chain of thoughts in the speaker, and it will make them remember you more, because it was a lovely story. It would pair up perfectly with such types of conclusions. Okay, amazing. Who wants to come up next?
If you want, I can participate.
Okay. Okay. Roland. So this is from
تفكر فيك
the
عم تفكر فيك
from last
سوريا
meeting.
يا رولا.
So in 2022,
أنا محمد, you called me Rola.
thinking which question. Oh my God.
Do you want Rola to do it?
No. 1 second. I always get confused with your voices. So
It's
from the
fine, it's
beginning,
fine.
when you were talking, I thought you were Roland.
Oh, okay, it's fine.
And he was raising his
It's
hand.
because I had my camera off, so it's fine.
Yes. Okay, so Muhammad, the question
Yes.
is, in 2022, I expect that an airplane will crash in Lebanon and it will kill 50 humans.
Okay.
When was the last time fear stopped you from doing something? So the question is, when was the last time your fear stopped you from doing something?
Muhammad disappeared.
I think he logged out accidentally.
Oh, really? Did he listen to the question and then disappear, or?
I don't know what's happening today with the Wi-Fi.
It's horrible today. Okay.
Maybe we can go ahead. I think.
Somebody else would like to answer?
I can answer it, but I feel like it's like I thought of it so much time. So maybe if you want, I can take another question.
No, we're just like, you have 30 seconds to think. So yeah, you can answer.
Okay, a weird question. Can you repeat the question, please? Because I forgot it.
Okay. So the question is, when was the last time fear stopped you from doing something? Muhammad is back.
Muhammad, go for the question. Answer it.
I honestly, I did not think of the answer because كنت عم سبسي بصراحة. Sorry, I was saying bad words. The government to heck. Okay, so the question is, when did fear stop me from doing something? The thing is, Toastmasters by itself was a fear for me, but that did not really stop me from trying it. But fear did try and make me not participate in several stuff. For example, table topics was always an issue for me. First, I like to give an answer that are straight and forward, especially when I'm answering something that's serious. So a lot of times I did not want to participate in table topics because I thought that I did not have the perfect answer, or I would make a fool out of myself. And up until now, I regret those times that I didn't participate because that would have pushed me a lot. For me, table topics, it's about practice. It's about just saying what you have, saying your own opinion. But the thing is, I like to add some humor to my answers. So basically, I'm afraid that sometimes I would add that too much humor, or I'd always think, no, I have to have something funny. I have to make them laugh. It's something that I need, but in reality, it's not. It's something that just goes in with the flow of giving a speech. So this is something I learned through a lot of practice. Now, for me, I find table topics as easier now. What about you?
Okay, thank you.
This tip I took from Thuraya because I was watching.
Great. Okay, so anyone likes to comment on his speech? Yasmina says nice conclusion.
Nice conclusion.
He ended up with a question which is kind of مش attractive. What do we say? Like you wanna like listen more about it. What about you? Like you think about the answer later on. I tried to think about it as well now. So, yeah.
Definitely.
Can I speak?
Yes.
Okay. So I really liked one thing that in his speech, Muhammad Attar actually worked upon implementing the vocal variety. So there was this effort. So I would say that he tried to incorporate the vocal variety in his speech.
Definitely. Anyone who wants to add something to improve?
I have something to improve.
Yes.
I think for
Self-evaluation.
next time I could be a little slower. That's the thing I'm trying to practice on. I was a little fast. So that's
Yes.
something I need to work on.
Definitely. Anyone would like to add? Okay, if no one wants to add, I just want to add one thing, and that is you were about to fall in the double conclusion thing. You had some repetition at the end, but then you saved it, and you ended with like you knew where to stop. So, but
I was going to say two conclusions. Or
no,
ناقد حالي.
I felt like you repeated some ideas at the end, like there was some repetition at the end, but then you saved yourself from being stuck in that repetition, and you ended your speech. So you applied what you heard right now, which is something good. With practice, this will become more smooth, like with time.
Thank you.
Great. Who wants to come up? Roland? No, it's Roland. Okay. So your question is, okay, I'm gonna say this. This is a joke. Please don't get offended. It's probably the Lebanese people will get it. I could explain it later. But the question is, Mariam Noor will introduce us to her first alien boyfriend in 2022. So what is the first thing you would like to ask this alien?
Well, thank you, Thuraya, for asking such a great question and mentioning Mariam Noor, because this person, in my opinion, it's one of two. It's either a genius person talking in an unthinkable society, or a mad woman who's just throwing bad words on the TV and slapping the reporters each time she goes on an interview with them. But let's say that she introduced us to her boyfriend. I would definitely be eager to know how the alien system works. Do they have financial laws and financial flows that go between the planets? Maybe there are some real or some other Mercurians other than us on Mercury. Why not? Why not, since we really are meeting that alien and we definitely have demonstrated that they do exist. There are plenty of questions. Some I cannot ask here on Toastmasters because there are some laws, such as no politics and no other sexual questions. But I think that it might be an interesting thing to meet a new society, new customs, and new people, and to interact with them and to gain from their absolutely knowledgeable matters and knowledgeable thoughts. Now the question is to you, fellow, what's the word? Okay, fellow real Mercurians. Do you think it would be interesting to interact with other or with aliens from another planet? Back to you, Madam Titian.
Thank you, Roland. Diggin says it might even have romantic right in their own Venice like canal. Amazing.
We can ask Abdul Latif about that later. Okay.
Yes, we can. Wait, so.
Okay, so I have Roland. The thing is, Roland, you have كتبته هون. You have هلا يمكن ما شايفينك نحن هلا فيس تو فيس، فيمكن كبودي لانجوج شوي صغيره. انت بلشت كنت هتعمل هيك وانت عم تسال السؤال، بس ايدك وصلت لهون رجعتها. ما بعرف ليه فجاه هيك غيرت رايك. it was a good no just هيك عيشه شوي عادي. تاني شيء انت بتعمل كثير بوزز بلا ما تحس، بتكون عم بتفكر فيها للانسر. شو؟
English.
sorry. I forgot. Okay. The thing is that you do a lot of pauses without you noticing because so when you want to tell it, when you're telling a story, you go suddenly, so I want to, okay, so you're actually thinking here, but the thing is that what I would try to do is set a conclusion and just build up on it, so I don't have to think while saying the answer. For the vocal variety, you've really improved. I really loved it. So like I loved how interesting how to hear how you're doing that. Of course, we'll need some of that extra practice, but that's my overall comments. أعطيك 10 over 100.
Who wants to give more feedback? Anyone? Ladies, gentlemen. Digant?
Yeah. So the main thing that comes in front, the main challenge that comes in front of some of the table topics speakers is what to say when you come across something where you don't know what to say. So I really applaud Roland for actually taking up that topic. Sorry, actually, I'm due to sleep, I sometimes fumble. So I would say that he actually handled the topic very well. He, as per the expressions that I was able to see, he was having a small blank phase where he didn't know what to say, but then he took it up in a beautiful manner and also in a humorous manner. So that's really commendable.
Thank you, Digant. I wanted to say something because like what you said inspired me. You started with an idea that is very interesting, and that is, whether there are Mercurians on Mercury, and they do Toastmasters. So when you said that, I was like, okay, it's story time. I was expecting a story because you can come up with a very funny story on how they conduct Toastmaster meetings there. So it would have been very interesting. So you could probably do that sometime. And another question.
نسميها Toastmasters Earth بدل Mercury مثلا أو شيء إنه
Toastmasters what? Earth?
Earth.
Earthlings. Okay. So anyone wants to come up? Yasmina, Ria, Rima.
Yasmina is raising her hand.
Come on, Yasmina. Yes, Yasmina. Okay.
So long.
What do I want to ask you? I'm gonna ask you this question. So in 2022, hybrid work lifestyle and great resignations will follow. What is the best option in your opinion? Remote, hybrid, or office work? So what is your preference when it comes to working or even studying?
Let's go back, each one of us, like 2 years ago, when the COVID-19 first hits us. We all sat in the house, locked the doors, and didn't have any social events to do. We didn't see people. We didn't speak with people. We didn't even have fun with people. These are the moments that we always regret not having them before COVID, not enjoying every moment that we had missed just because we felt like we were lazy, we didn't want to go out, we just felt like it's not important. Until COVID came and we made everything precious. We felt that every single moment is really important. And work, when it comes to work, social network is really important, either you want it or not. When we started to go out, we felt it really weird to hug people, to say hi to people, to sit with people. And this is really a very big issue to tackle. And speaking of personal experience, I'm someone until now, I still have my masks on. I'm afraid of COVID. Thank God I still didn't caught it. But today I just said one sentence to my family. We need to live with it, because not having social interaction with people is so, it destroys our own mental health, our own life. And social networking with people during our work is really a necessity. So why not going to the office every morning, waking up, taking coffees with you to your co-workers and enjoy your day, do your work and come back home, having two things to do, your work with socializing and socializing with yourself, having your own free time at home. What do you think? Thank you.
Thank you, Yasmina. So who wants to evaluate Yasmina? Muhammad?
Sorry, I'm always the one who's up, but I don't see any hands, so I volunteer. I honestly did not find anything negative in her speech. I found she would get like a 9, like a 90 or 95. So she did good. She had good organization of ideas. She had vocal varieties, and she's always smiling. So she spreads positivity without even knowing about it. So yeah, it's a very good answer.
Okay. Anyone else? Digant?
Yeah, so it was really nice speech by Yasmina, but I have one suggestion as per my experience, one point of improvement, that this is something where we are telling about COVID, something which is unacceptable, but we have to accept it. So in this case, it would be more impactful if the speaker can put some humor also. Because if things are heavy, then people will not be able to take it. But if we add some humor, some humorous thought that might have came in our mind, like we can even just switch off our video and go for a snoring time during these COVID times. Something like that can enhance the speeches.
Thank you, Digant. Definitely humor is always welcomed. Okay, so Ria, would you like to come up?
Did you say my name?
Yes.
Yes, okay, but okay, I have Wi-Fi issues, so I will try as much as I can. And if you stop hearing me, just assume that my Wi-Fi went off.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so I have, I think, one more question or two.
Okay.
So the question is, 90% of the world population in 2022 will be vaccinated. So that's a prediction. Are you with or against enforcing the vaccines?
With or against what?
Enforcing vaccination, like making it obligatory.
Okay. I will try to open my camera. Okay. Guys, can you please turn off your videos because it will glitch 100%. Sorry. Okay. So, as we know, Corona has took over everything in the world. Unfortunately for us, extroverts like me, we don't want to stay at home and we like to see a lot of people. So this is a huge problem. So we also know that Corona affected many levels. It affected economy, it affected productivity at work, it affected the interpersonal relationship, communication, and many other things. So in my opinion, the vaccine is the only solution that we have. Effectively, we can't live alone forever. We can't stay in our houses and hope that one day we will reach somewhere somehow. It's not possible. We need to have interaction, we need to have face-to-face communication, and this is why we have Toastmasters. We are working on public speaking, we are working on communication in order to become better versions of ourselves. So in my opinion, we all need to be vaccinated, and if not all of us, the majority. So if 90% of the population is going to be vaccinated, I don't think that we need to force the 10% that don't want to take the vaccine to take it, because 90% is a good number and we can live with each other even though they are not vaccinated. 10% is not a huge number. But if the number would have to be, for example, 50%, I would say that yes, we need to force some people to take the vaccine, especially those who don't have major problem issues with their hearts. For example, AstraZeneca, at some point it was making some issues. Okay, then they take Pfizer. For the others, take whatever. We need to have interaction. So yes, in my opinion, it's very important to take the vaccine, and I would at least force people to take it until we have a certain percentage of vaccinated people. Thank you.
I can
Thank you.
evaluate her.
I can feel her frustration.
Me?
I can feel Ria's frustration, like
Ah.
as an
Yes,
extrovert.
yes, I was very worried about the Wi-Fi.
Okay, so who wants to give her evaluation?
Me, please. So, Ria, the energetic guest that became a member recently, not recently actually, in Mercury. Ria, you are known for your positive vibes that you spread while you are speaking and answering table topics or answering any question. What I really like about you is how you deliver your speeches, and what really makes you special is that you have this comment dire, how do we say it in English? You say this
Say it in French.
and this
if you
and
want.
this. So you are what's the word? Numerating or counting or listing. You are listing why you want us to support your way of thinking or your statement of the question. And other than that is that you have a creative thinking. So I did not personally think that if we have 90%, okay, why to force others? I thought of completely different answer. So you are always creative with your answer, Ria, and yes, that's my positive evaluation to you. Digant is raising his hand.
Thank you so much.
So Leia, can I proceed?
Yes.
Okay, so two things are there, one improvement point and one good point. So I would start with the sweet one first with the good point. So I really liked one thing in Gia's speech, and that was she connected with the audience very well. She enumerated, or I would say she told about those incidents or those points that actually happened in our life. That this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. I felt connected, but I have just one small recommendation or point of improvement, one subtle point, that when you are quoting about the vaccines and what has happened with those vaccines, it might end up into getting a little bit opinionated, a little bit on such areas where audience might lose connect with you. Some people might have different opinion than you. So you can specify, in my opinion, I heard that AstraZeneca vaccine had this, or in my opinion, AstraZeneca had this. So
Do you think,
this will
sorry, do you think that naming the source would have been a solution for that? For example, given by WHO, people, blah, blah, blah. It would have been
yeah,
better?
that's true. That will be the really one of the best things I would say.
Okay.
That really
See.
is going to be best. Apart from this, in case if you are not comfortable with quoting that thing, you can express it as an opinion. Since your opinion is your opinion, no one can question. So that's where you will end up maintaining the connection with audience while stating your opinion, even if they agree or not.
Thank you.
Thank you, Digant. No, I have one thing to add, and that is I really loved how you started, especially how you related it to being an extrovert and wanting to go out. This is something a lot of people have struggled with during quarantining in Lebanon, especially since a lot of Lebanese are extroverts, most of them at least. However, I felt like at the end, you talked a lot about the vaccines, and it kind of made me like a little bit distracted on what is the main point of the speech. Like, are you expressing? Are you talking about like the conclusion was just about the same amount as the introduction and the body. So I would have included that conclusion, but I would have shortened it. Like I would just rephrase what you just said in shorter sentences, because your conclusion should not equate the length of your introduction and body. That's all. But the ideas were there. Your energy was there. I could feel, as I said, I could feel your frustration. Like while you were speaking, I could connect your emotions with the way you delivered your speech. So that's it for me.
Thank you.
Okay, so I see Rima. She opened her camera.
Yeah, my grandson is playing now. He finished his dinner. I can maybe give few advice in general, not only to one speaker, but all of you. I think that you use too often the words so, actually, and you put lots of and. What you can do, you can, when you finish one sentence, just pause for 2-3 seconds and continue with another sentence, because those filling words are they give less effectiveness in your speech. The first thing you would do is what you said in the beginning: pause and think about the question. I think that if you know the conclusion to your message in the beginning, you will construct better your speech. Think, where do I want to arrive in my speech? What is the message at the end of my speech that I want to give? And then you will construct the beginning and the body, and it will be more effective. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Rima. I do agree about the pauses. It's always better to pause than to say a filler word. So thank you so much. And I'm really happy that you were able to open the camera at the end and give us a piece of your wisdom. Okay, so I'm done with all of the questions. If you would like to try more, we could do that up till 9. And if you want to repeat, anyone wants to try another question?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, but those would be like the ones that were from the previous meeting.
I can actually, I can't remember what I forgot a lot. I forget a lot, Soraya, but I can send you new questions if you want.
No,
or
it's
you
fine.
Oh,
I
okay.
like the questions, actually.
Just to be clear, the questions are not set by me. I have a PDF that contains lots of questions.
Yes,
So I'm not cheating here.
No, I think I have that PDF.
Yeah,
I know it's
absolutely.
so. Okay, so Digant, you want to try another question? Okay, great.
Yeah, I would like to try my hands on the recommendations that you provided last.
Okay. Okay, so let me. Okay, so I'll ask you this question. What is legal but must not be legal in your opinion? Because I love this.
I understand. I believe divorce is something which is legal, but which should not be. I understand that divorce is something which prevents people from getting too much violent in their relationships. Sometimes when husband and wife are quarreling and just out to burst on each other, they can take divorce. But that is just a short-term cure of a long pending problem. The best solution is to ban divorce and let people introspect and work towards making amends, towards making, and also making the relationships much more strong. So I believe if I were to make one thing illegal, that should be and that must be, in my opinion, divorce. What is your opinion?
Okay. So who wants to evaluate Digant? No one?
I had an internet connection issue, but I
okay.
think, I think that I heard most of the speech. I'm gonna repeat. I'm gonna echo what Muhammad Lattar said. Digant, you are creative. You are such a creative Toastmaster. You always start with a small idea and you elaborate and give examples, and that's what table topics is all about. You always elaborate in a good way. Maybe we don't need to agree with your opinion, but we are kind of saying that, yeah, that's something that we should consider because of some arguments that have been proposed by the speaker. So thank you, Digant, for answering that question.
Great. Anyone wants to give Digant a point to improve?
Yasmina rose her hand, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
No, something to improve. I don't think, maybe something to improve if you had time allocated. Every time Digant has a problem with time, so maybe like decreasing the amount of ideas that he want to share with everyone, like making more general ideas than more specific ones. I know he has a lot to share and we benefit from them, but he always has this problem with the time that he exceeds the 2 minutes when he gives his table topics.
Okay.
Is there any timer? Just
I approve Yasmina's point because I was going to say the same thing. Yeah,
actually, I didn't see the timer cards at all.
But
We
you usually always go past your time, and I think you knew that, but you wanted to always to say that extra thing. That would be a good point to you to watch out for the time, because you always partially miss the time.
Just to clarify, today we have no timer, but we can do that next session, like to have a timer. Like
if I would have seen the timer, I actually make it concise. So it's not that every time. There might be some times that what's the time? It's not.
I have an advice to give.
Yes.
I would like to tell you that for the contest, if you want to compete for the contest, as it will be online, it's very, very important that you check the sound, you check your internet, your Wi-Fi to be in good conditions to compete. Because if the judges don't hear you very well, if they miss half of what you're saying, then you will be, of course, losing the competition. So it's very important to update your Zoom version. It's very important to check very well your equipments, your accessories, and your internet. And if you want to win, this is really, really necessary.
Definitely, especially in Lebanon. We need to make sure that everything's working. Thank you so much, Rima. Okay, so I think we're almost 9. I don't know if we can do one more.
I'm sorry, Thuraya. I see that Manuel has just joined, and why not answering a question, Manuel? A table topics question.
I think he might be busy. Not sure if he's still.
Oh, okay.
Manuel,
Okay.
would you like to answer the question before we wrap up? Okay, I think he's busy.
Do we still have one question, or we're gonna close now?
I don't know. We have like the old questions, the ones that are already asked. So we could have like one more question.
Okay, I can answer a question. Let me throw that phone away.
Okay.
Hamadan.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this one. What is the thing that you missed the most from life before COVID? This is relatively an easy question, so just like it could be tricky as well. So take your time to think.
It is tricky. You know, Madam PTM, lots of valuable things take their value from our way to cherish them and to give them importance. I'm going to give a small example, such as money. We all agree that money is just a paper, but it's so powerful that can control a person's life. So it's so valuable because we decided that this 5 centimeter by 10 centimeters is much more valuable than anything around the world. But I myself believe that lots of other things are so important, like our relationship with our loved ones. And to answer your question, before COVID, we used to see them a lot or more frequently. We were able to hug them, to spend time with them, just to feel their lovely feelings towards us and vice versa. I think that after COVID, some of these memories cannot be repeated because unfortunately they passed away because of that pandemic. And at its best case, the latter, which is the pandemic, has cut our relationship with them. We were not able, we're no longer able to sit beside them, to have their amazing and wonderful and catchy stories that they used to tell us. So I think the relationships and the real and the genuine and warm feelings are what really I miss personally before and after COVID. And now the question is up to you, Madam TTM and fellow listeners. What do you miss the most before the pandemic has started? Back to you. Has Hadi reported on LBC?
Thank you, Roland. Well, I see you are starting to develop a template of your own. Okay, so who wants to? I see Ria raising her hand. Ria, would like to evaluate?
Yes, because okay, first Ronan is the first person that didn't glitch today, so I am so happy to be able to give him a feedback. Okay, so first, there is something very positive about the speech, that the variety of the tone was very on point. So at some point I was not able to see you because the camera was freezing, but I was able to hear everything, and the message was very well delivered because of your tone. But at some point when I started seeing you moving on the camera, I realized that your face expressions are not always relevant to what you are saying. So maybe you can work a little bit on this. But the speech is amazing, and the ideas too. And the way you ended the conclusion is very nice and smart. The way you asked us and Now the question turns off to you. What do you miss the most? It makes us think and relate to what you are saying more. Thank you, Roland, for the speech.
Thank you for giving us the first feedback. Okay, so who would like to add more feedback to Roland? No one? Manuel, you can talk.
Hello, guys. Good evening. Sorry I'm late. I couldn't help it. I didn't watch the first part of Roland's answer, but I could watch most of it. Roland, I want to suggest to you that you step back a little from the camera because you are too close. So you need to step back and speak up. Did you attend the workshop that Andrew gave us about vocal variety? You have a very good voice, but I think tonight, you were missing a little about that. Like, you need to make your voice sound more convincing, more powerful. At some point, it was like kind of monotone, but that was not an issue, but because you have a good voice. But you need to make your voice sound powerful, like imprint some energy into what you are saying. I think those are the two things I can say about that. The message was very good, as Ria said. I agree with her on that. So it was a good answer. You just need to give it more energy, more power to your voice. That's it, Madam Topics Master.
Thank you, Manuel. So today your feedback, Roland, was focused around this area, the physical and the vocal variety. And honestly, it has a lot of points, like 30 points. I really loved the speech development. It was, you had like, I could see the structure. You started out with something, you were describing something, and you used this thing to compare it, like to make the idea clearer to us about what you miss the most from pre-corona. So it was smart. And I told you, you're starting to develop a template, which is good. I think it helps you a lot when you're in a contest, because you need to think fast and just like find a quick speech. So good job. Okay, so it's 9. And this is the end of the session.
I don't want this to end.
we can do that actually. We'll do that lots of times.
Yeah, we have to.
That's the plan. We'll also do other variations of it. We can, like, we're open to suggestions. Like, if there's anything that you want to improve, work on, we can like dedicate sessions to work on those skills. So if you have anything you want to practice, just let us know. Let Yasmina know and we can plan it.
Definitely. And I think that's a great idea. Whoever come up with it, I think it's Raya, you did. It's a great idea. Yes.
Actually, Manuel helped brainstorming this idea yesterday. So I contacted him and I wanted him to be TTE. So he gave this idea.
You know,
thank you, Manuel.
That's what you get when you have a professional and professional Toastmasters such as Manuel, who always come up with creative ideas. Thank you, Manuel, for contributing to this training today. Today, I want to say something that, and I'm not exaggerating, that I've been in Toastmasters for around a year or maybe less that, but today's improvement is so enormous that I know now I can know where to focus, where are my weakness points, and I'm gonna give myself an evaluation. I started to build that. Yes, I have to think of the conclusion and to build a well-organized speech. And my mentor Kamal Kassab always used to say, break it down. Break it down. You always throw on us your answer. So just break it down. And I think I improved today. So thank you, Thuraya. Thank you, Manuel. Thank you all for attending. It was an amazing training and we should repeat it.
Definitely.
And also, Rima, thank you for your lovely and kind advice as a professional and all Toastmasters as well.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. You can invite me every time, and if I'm available, I will attend because I love your meetings and I like to be with you.
You are more than welcome in Mercury.
Thank you very much.
We are very happy to have experienced members with us because, you know, wisdom is very valuable to us, and you are a very wise and experienced Toastmaster. So
thank you. Yeah,
we
so
don't need to
positive.
invite
That's good.
You're always welcomed in our without an invitation. Just like kick the door and come
on
in.
Tuesdays. My club's meetings are on Tuesdays, but it's every second and fourth Tuesday. Then I can attend your meetings the first and third Tuesday.
That's great.
And if you want me to become a member, just let me know how to do my membership, and I will do it. Okay?
I'm sorry, I heard a member. My internet sucks, but I
you
heard
want me to
member.
become a member of your club?
We would love to.
I'm
Just
so
send me the
happy.
information, and I will pay my membership.
I will. The VPM here is talking to you. I will, Rima. Thank you.
Okay, good. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Okay, so anyone wants to add anything?
I have a challenge for you, especially.
Yes.
Try to forget. Okay, so.
Okay.
Yeah, when you start your sentences, you always say, okay, so. This is something that you can maybe practice, not to say that. Start your sentences by a reflection, and then you will not say, okay, so.
Definitely.
She changed it. Because before it was, without further ado, this, without further ado, that, without further ado, the other. But now it's okay. So.
And also, don't say what you are going to do.